What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome to week 1 of the LTM Pokemon Draft League. This week we take on Vepsis, the coach of the Helsinki High Dragons, and we are in for a very difficult match against one of the strongest teams in the entire league. Starting off strong, right? Before we jump into it though, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, we will be doing a quick team builder before we jump into it. But of course, there will be timestamps down below if you would like to skip ahead. Now, Vepsis actually has created one of, if not the strongest teams in this league. He's bringing Spam, which is really strong in a low tier format. Leading off the charge with the TERA Armarouge, this thing is incredibly good. The TERA gives it a lot of really great versatility. Of course, it really benefits from a lot of different TERA types, whether it is picking up coverage or just extra damage off of its stabs. Either way, this thing does really well, especially with expanding force in combination with Indeedee. We have Hawlucha, of course, to activate the Psychic Seed and get its Unburden off, and of course it would then be immune to any kind of priority that you want to go for, which is really good there. Mandibuzz, one of the best defoggers in the game, much less in low tier. I really wanted this thing, but obviously it was taken early. It's really good. Gastrodon, really nice bulky water and ground type. I like that option a lot. Also gives a water immunity, which can be nice. We've got the Goodra here. Insanely good in low tier, honestly. It's stupid bulky on the special side, and gets a lot of different moves. It's a really good pickup there. Revavroom is an underrated mon, even if it's not the TERA captain. It's still a great mon, both offensively and defensively, thanks to Filter. So really cool. Inteleon, fast, hits pretty hard, gets momentum. Nothing wrong with that. Rotom-Mow, I really like Rotom-Mow, especially in low tier. I think that it actually works really well here, and can do a lot of work. Maybe not necessarily into my team specifically, but I think that it will definitely put in some work this season. Colossal, great spinner, rocker, spiker, you name it, it does it. And finally, Sableye, and you know how well Sableye can do from our UNPL shenanigans this season. So yeah, this is a really rough matchup for us, and I am going into week 1 fully expecting to lose. Is that a defeatist way to think about it? Kind of, but honestly, it's okay. I'm really not worried about it. We started off UNPL last season with 2 losses and ended with 2 losses, and here we are. Tomorrow's video is going up for the semifinals match. So it's all good. It's all good. I'm not worried about it. We are going to do our best though and give it our best shot for week 1. So what are we bringing to combat Spam? Let's take a look. Starting off, of course, we got to bring our TERA captain, and that is going to be our KILOWATTREL. KILOWATTREL is going to be rocking that TERA ground this week. That is to hit both the Revavroom and the Colossal. I don't know that Colossal is coming, honestly. It seems a little less viable here, but the Revavroom is definitely coming. That is way too good into my team to leave on the bench, and ground gives me a way to hit that really well. Pretty standard stuff as far as this goes. We've got enough speed to outspeed the entire team. Discharge, Air Slash, Terra Blast, and U-Turn. Nothing too crazy on that. Next up, Porygon Z. I'm excited to see what this thing can do. Again, enough speed to outrun most of the squad. It's not going to outspeed everything, but we are outrunning everything that we naturally would outrun, which honestly is fine. We are able to run Modest this week, which is great, as well as the download ability. A lot of mons on the team, not all of them, but a lot of them outside of Goodra are going to give us the special attacking download boost, and so that's really what we're going to want to go for, is to grab that extra bit of power. We've got Expert Belt here because we can hit most things for super effective on the team with Dark Pulse, Psychic, or Ice Beam, and we've got Conversion as a nice little interesting tech here. We could turn into a Dark type in order to be immune to all of those pesky Psychic moves. Could be interesting. We'll just have to see if we can get off that tech. Next up, Slowbro. Slowbro is AV this week, and we are very specially bulky. This basically is going to chew any hit from Armarouge and most of his special attackers. I think this is really great. We don't need the slack off really because we have Regenerator, and I think that we really are going to be doing a lot of switching, and so I think this is fine. We've got Future Sight on here to take advantage of the terrain. I thought about running the Expanding Force, but I don't know. I feel like Future Sight's a little bit better. Then we've got Scald, Grass Knot for the potential Gastrodon, and then Ice Beam for the potential Mandibuzz coming in to be immune to that Future Sight. So we've got our bases covered there. Next up, Choice Scarf, Low Kicks. I really would love to run Low Kicks the way that it was intended, but I can't because of the terrain. Of course, anything that is touching the terrain is going to be immune to any kind of priority, so that really hampers Low Kicks, unfortunately. I still think it's a decent option though, and so with Adamant Scarf, I think we can still do a decent amount of damage. Knockoff is still doing a lot. Axe Kick is still good. Aerial Ace, of course, allows us to hit that Hawlucha if it has not gotten its Unburden off yet. So there's some great options here for sure. And then of course U-turn for momentum. Next up, Pheasantipity. I am excited to be bringing this. I think this is a fun mon. This is a very standard set, a lot of HP, a lot of speed, a little bit of defense, and we are running Calm Mind with Taunt. Taunt, of course, can catch the Revavroom wanting to go for a shift gear. There are a lot of different things that don't really appreciate being taunted. And then we've got Moonblast just to hit things like Goodra. It's generally pretty good into his team, so I like that fairy coverage there. And then, of course, Roost for longevity. And finally, Big Flygon coming off the bench here week 1, and we're bringing Dragon Dance. I want to see if this set will do any work, and I think it has potential. If we get off 2 Dragon Dances, I think we can sweep, and honestly, Outrage is insane here. As long as Armarouge is not TERA Fairy, then I think we'll be okay. And I think that this thing could be really, really good. We're Lumberry here to catch either like a Will-O-Wisp from Sableye, or more importantly, or you know, more reliably, I think we would catch something like a Poison from Gunk Shot, or the intended strategy is to catch our Confusion from our own Outrage after a couple of turns. So that's our team for week 1. I hope you guys are looking forward to this match. It's gonna be a rough one, but we're gonna get through it, and we are gonna do our absolute best, and I am absolutely looking forward to it. So let's get joined up, and we'll see how we can do. All right, here we go. Okay, this is pretty much what we expected. Colossal, not so much, but everything else, pretty much. I think that's all exactly what we expected. Doesn't make it any less threatening. It's still very difficult to deal with this team, but that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and lead off a Kilowattrel. It will allow us to Volt Switch pretty freely. There's no ground type on his team. We do know that the Armarouge is TERA Fairy, which was unexpected. I was kind of expecting the possible TERA Dark here, honestly. Maybe even Grass for my Slowbro. Fairy is fine. It's a little easier to deal with, honestly, for Slowbro. So I think it's okay. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, this is just a really rough matchup for week 1. Yeah, this happened in UNPL as well, where I had just a really, really tough matchup in week 1, and then, you know, we were able to make it up in later weeks. But yeah, it's a tough matchup week 1, unfortunately. But that's okay. That's okay. That does not determine the season, and we're just going to do our best, and that's all we can do. We get a lead Goodra. All right, makes sense. In mocks, I had some crazy stuff show up. I even had Scarf Goodra show up at once. And that actually wasn't that bad. I'm kind of wishing I had run Volt Switch instead of U-turn now, but that's fine, I guess. Do we need a TERA at this point? I don't think it's a bad idea, necessarily. I don't know. Do we need the ground immunity for anything? I don't think so, really. I don't think I do. I think I could just U-turn here pretty freely. Just go ahead and get my TERA off and go from there. The ground obviously is there so that we can have that ready to go for the Colossal. That way we're not weak to the Rock move later as well. So that helps. We can get this in and get a 4 times effective move on it. Revavroom also takes 4 times effective from this, so that's pretty good. So yeah, having that offensive ground typing is pretty good. Now, as far as what we want to go into here, he could go with several things. Goodra gets so many moves that it's just really hard to figure out what he wants to do. We could always go into Fez as a neutral play here. I'm gonna try that. I think Pheasandipity's an okay switch. This may end up being a mistake, but we'll see what happens. So goes for knockoff. That's actually fine. We miss out on our passive recovery, but ultimately that's not a huge deal. What do you switch into this? There's not a lot that wants to switch into this, honestly. Colossal, maybe. We could catch that with a taunt if it wants to go for rocks. Yeah, let's go for taunt here, expecting Colossal to come in. Yep, switch out. Because, yeah, Colossal makes a lot of sense here. Jeremy, I don't know who that is. Revivroom, okay. I'm also realizing I forgot to nickname my mons. I do have nicknames. They will be here week 2. I'm sorry. But I did forget to do those this week. But that's okay. We get the taunt off, which means that we don't have to deal with setting up right away, which is great, because that shift gear is pretty gnarly. What that also means is that we're in a bit of trouble here because this thing is really good. I think Flygon's an okay switch. We still maintain that ground immunity if he wants to go for that high horsepower. Otherwise, he can go for the gunk shot. We're Lumberry if he poisons us. That's not how I would like to use my Lumberry, but that's okay. We do have to remember that we can't be going for outrage strats just because he does have the TERA Fairy on Armarouge. So that does shut that down, unfortunately. There's the gunk shot. Yeah, we're not going to take this well. It does less than half, which is good. I don't think I saw Balloon on this. I don't think I did. And I mean, Mandy could come in, but I mean, do I double expecting Mandibuzz to come in? It's a pretty, I mean, it's a pretty free switch on his end to do that. I think I can call the Mandy here just because that did less. We'll go ahead and pull that double and see if we can't get into a decent position here. Again, no ground type, so I don't... Yeah, there was a risky double, but it worked out. It worked out, so we're okay. Goes into... I have no idea how to pronounce that. Yep, there's Mandy. Very good. And this is a free discharge as far as I'm concerned. Goodra could come in, might get paralyzed, which is fine. But either way, that's a pretty good double on our part. Could have U-turned, I guess, but I mean, that's not really dealing any damage. Not that this is going to deal a ton, but yeah, in comes Goodra, makes sense. And we go for discharge, that does about -3 damage. And I think we just U-turn at this point. I believe he's AV, from how little that's, yeah, that should have been doing more. I believe he's AV, which makes sense. He's very, very bulky. So yeah, KILOWATTREL is fast. It's not necessarily super strong, but we're getting some chip on this, which is a good thing. Now, last time we showed that Pheasandipity was our switch into this. Do we go for that again? I just don't know what all he has. I mean, he could have a poison move, but I don't know if he really wants to go for that. I don't want Slowbro getting its AV knocked off, because as soon as he does that, Slowbro's in a really bad position, and I need that for the late game. He does have the EQ, which is a really good play there. Yeah, that's really good. That did a little under half. So what do we want to do here? I could just roost. I think that he is he's AV, so he's gonna, even if I go for the Moonblast, he's not gonna take very much from it. Could get the drop, maybe, but I don't really want to rely on that, just because those drops are pretty rare. And he's of course got a free switch into Revivroom here. The thing is, I'm not really winning the positioning war at this point. He's able to get positioning a lot better than I am right now, and that's kind of a problem. I could have doubled there into Flygon. It was kind of obvious, but I mean, what are you gonna do? And the issue here is that if he, let's see, yeah, the issue is it'd be fine if he wasn't TERA Fairy Armarouge. At the same time, we don't have to worry about terrain at that point. He's going for the late game terrain. He might be scarfed in that case, which would make sense. But yeah, I just don't have a great switch into this, unfortunately. Yeah, because even Slowbro's not going to take So even Slowbro is going to take more than I want it to. We'll go ahead and go into that, even though it's not really what I want to do. At this point, like I said, his team just puts on so much offensive pressure, and I just don't have the tools. I just don't have the tools with my team. Yeah, there's the shift gear. Taunt was probably the right play there, and I might just get 6-0'd here. I might just get 6-0'd at this point. I got to go for Scald here to possibly get the burn, but Gunk Shot miss, that bails. That is huge. I'm very sorry. That matters. That absolutely matters. We don't get the burn, which is good. Just making up for that miss there, because yeah, that miss absolutely matters. Because Gunk Shot does a lot to this. Yeah, we live, but not well. Doesn't get the poison there, which is good. And we don't get the burn there either. We can save this at this point if we want to. What is our pivot though? I mean, what is our pivot? Because +2 Rev of Room is still going to be faster than our Scarfed Low Kicks, I believe. Yeah, there's nothing we can do to outspeed it. And of course we didn't bring the let's see, we didn't bring anything to be able to deal with this. That's the issue. In mocks, I got cooked by this like every single time, and there's just not a whole lot that I can do because I didn't really bring priority because of the psychic terrain. So yeah, this thing is just really tough. So we'll go Fez here. It's gonna go down immediately. Basically what I have to do is get health back on this by sacking 2 or 3 Mons, and eventually, yeah, there's Iron Head. This goes down every time, and Rev is going to take its first of a lot of KOs here. Yeah, I just don't have anything for this. I have absolutely nothing for this. I got to go back into Slowbro and get some more health back. Swap right back out and let something else go down. What else is expendable at this point? I don't think he's going to ever give me a position to where Flagon is going to be able to do anything. So it might be Flagon, honestly. It might be. I mean, Flagon's good into Colossal, but so is... Oh man, but then I don't have anything for Goodra, really. I mean, Goodra's chipped, and I've got this for the knockoff, which will still deal a good amount. Yeah, I mean, this is still good. It's not great, but it's still good. And I mean, Earthquake is still doing a lot after I go for a D-Dance or two. So I think it's got to... man. I think it's got to be Pori. I don't think I can get a good position with Porygon anyway. Yeah, this is just a really bad matchup. Just a really bad matchup for me. And so we may end up making some transactions on the team pretty early. I don't know, but there's just not a whole lot that I can... He misses the Gunk Shot again, which is great. Could have stayed in, but there's no way for me to know that. We'll click Psychic here. I mean, he just... Yeah, Iron Head, that's... I'm never living. I lived. There's no way I lived that. Okay, we're not out of it yet. Okay, Porygon takes the first KO of our season. I did not expect to live that. I will just fully tell you that now. Okay, we will absolutely take that. What do you go into? Coal? Okay. I mean, he can just set rocks here if he wants to. That's a possibility. I think just going for Dark Pulse might be the play. Is there any reason to save this? I mean, we're faster than most of the team. I mean, I can go into Kilo here, or I could go into Flagon actually. Let's go Flagon here. He probably sets rocks, which is fine. I mean, it's not great, but it's fine. There's nothing I can do about it. I didn't bring removal this week. So yeah, we'll go ahead and go into flag on here. Yeah, sets rocks, makes sense. I think we, he may be Will-O-Wisp, but in that case we still Dragon Dance, right? Because we have Lum. Yeah, let's D-Dance here. He switches, okay. Into Mandy, okay. I mean, Mandy does what? Foul play? I can't outrage yet. How much does this do? He's probably physically defensive, I would imagine. For him to bring it in on this so quickly. Yeah, I'm really not dealing any damage at this point. I'm dealing approximately 0. Could sack Pori here. Could go low kicks maybe. That's risking a flying move coming out, but I don't know that he goes for that. I can't outrage yet. I can't outrage in this situation. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna risk the foul play. It's risky. It's super risky. I don't like it. I don't like doing it, but I have to. I don't like risking it. Yeah, the stones hurt. Yeah, there's foul play. We don't take it well, but we take it. We're bluffing having a move that actually does damage to this. Spoiler alert, we do not. We do not have one that does damage to this. So that's a little unfortunate there. What do you go into on this? What, Cole maybe? I'm just gonna click Axe Kick. He may just stay in. Yeah, he does. That deals 0 because he's physically defensive. He's weak armor. Oh boy. That's why he's physically defensive. And he's Rocky Helmet. Okay. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna get cooked by Amanda Buzz. That's cool. I'm gonna get cooked by Amanda Buzz. Yeah, I just have nothing for this team. I just have absolutely nothing for his team. Oh man. Yeah, this is just a really bad matchup for me. It's unfortunate, but we're gonna try to keep the diff as low as we can, and that's all we can do. At least we're taking less on rocks now, which is good. I'm gonna click Discharge again. He's faster than me now, but I don't think he's got a lot that can hit me on this. He may have expected TERA Ice or something like that, but I ended up not doing that. Ice was okay into this matchup, I guess. Like it's okay, but I think Ground was better, especially for the Revavroom. Okay, gets a crit. It doesn't matter. But yeah, he'll go into the Goodra probably, and we're just getting a little bit of chip here and there on the Goodra. I'm really not able to get any kind of footing here because I'm not able to click the Dragon Claw. I probably should have brought Dragon Claw over Outrage, but the Terra Fairy just completely screwed me. Otherwise, I'd have gone for a second Dragon Dance. Yeah, I'd have gone for a second Dragon Dance and probably done okay. But yeah, I just can't, because then I lose Flagon for no reason. Yeah, his defensive core is just too much. His defensive core is way too much. He hasn't even had to bring in his offensive mons. His Indeedee hasn't even come out. His Armarouge hasn't even come out. Nothing has had. None of his offensive mons have had to come out because I just can't break his core. So very unfortunate. We should do better into the rest of the season. I promise. I promise. We'll do better in the rest of the season. Yeah, but this one's just a little bit rough. Just a little bit rough. I think we just go into PZ here. I think that's about all we can do. Go down to rocks. Dragon Tail. Okay, makes sense. I get it. I get it. We'll go into Slowbro. Not that we're going to do super well here, but that's okay. I think I click Future Sight at this point. If it's not, what am I going to do about it? There's nothing I can do. Yeah, there's just nothing I can do here. The AV Gudra is just way too much for me to be able to handle. So we didn't get 6-0'd, which is something. We didn't get 6-0'd. I was expecting to get 6-0'd, honestly. But we'll take this and we'll be all right. We'll be all right. So what do you want to go into now? I've got Ice Beam on deck after the Future Sight. So if you want to go into Mandy, you'll take, you know, about 5 damage from my Ice Beam, but that's about it. He's not AV, he's just Spit Death. Okay. All right. Yeah, I just can't deal with this thing. I just have nothing for this thing. All right, it's down to like a quarter roughly, which is fine, I guess. Do we stay in and go for that again? Does he stay in and keep clicking attacking moves, or does he switch? I'll click Ice Beam here. If he wants to go into Mandy for the Future Sight, then he can. We live, which is good. So I guess we'll take out the Gudra. Yeah, Gudra's gone. Okay, cool. It's a 4-0. It's a 4-0 instead of a 5-0, which again is 2 better than what I was expecting. And then we will go down Poison on that. And so on the double down, that was one of the best options for Kilo, which is good. I think we just go Kilo here. So, I mean, one of the best Kilo checks he had on his team is now gone, which is nice. He doesn't have a great, at least as good of a special switch in anymore, which is a good thing. We'll take that. But still, I don't see me being able to get a foothold here in the end game in a way that I would like to, especially with that Armor Rouge still in the back. Again, if I had Dragon Claw, there might have been a shot there, because I could have, I probably could have set up to +2 and then click Dragon Claw and not had to worry about Outrage. I just didn't account for the TERA Fairy, and that's on me. Big sad, but it's all good. Goes into this. Do I have any reason to overpredict at this point? I don't think so. I think I just attack what's in front of me. If he goes Mandy, I switch to Discharge. Yeah, I don't think I need to overpredict at this point. It's pretty well over. I can see the writing on the wall. He may even be Focus Sash, and if he is, then this wouldn't have KO'd anyway. But that's all good. Do you switch here? I don't know. He may have expected me to go Flagon and wanted to go for a Will-O-Wisp. That's possible. No, he stays in. So yeah, he might be Sash, which would make sense here. He may just give. No, it just lives. Explosion. Okay. I don't live that. I don't live that. Yeah, there's no way I live that. All right. Yeah, it just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough to KO. Unfortunate. Even with the 4 times effective, it was not enough. So we go Flagon now, and we will just have to call it a battle. But you know what? It ends up being a 3-0, which is honestly okay. I'm totally okay with a 3-0. There's Indeedee, makes sense. Makes complete sense. There's the Psychic Surge. This was something I expected to happen a lot earlier in the battle, but here we are. I mean, I don't KO with anything, most likely. There's no way that I KO. Yeah, I have to have a Dragon Dance here. I might as well click it. Yeah, he has D-Gleam. So yeah, I just go down. There's nothing I can do there. He was scarfed anyway. And there goes Flagon. So yeah, pretty much exactly what I expected out of week one. This was one of, if not my absolute worst matchups of the season. Just right here week one. And so it's just really tough. But we will bounce back. Next week we will have better prep, better techs, and we will we'll be stronger next time. Hopefully Low Kicks will have a chance to do its thing. I wish I had actually brought Priority, because then I would have been much better off, because he didn't really use the Psychic Terrain as much as what I thought he would. I definitely expected that to be much more of a prevalent part of the strategy, but I mean, Armarouge never even came out of its ball, and indeed he came out at the very end, so he didn't even use the tech until the very end, because I just could not break his different checks there. So very unfortunate start to the season, but we closed the diff enough to where it's definitely not an unovercomable type of thing, and we will just have to try again and try a little harder next week, and we will do that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, check out tomorrow's video with UNPL semifinals, where we did a lot better, and so that's going to be a lot of fun as well. Until next time, stay safe out there, stay healthy. We'll see you later. Bye bye.